This video is about government budget.
So, what is a government budget? Government budgeting is the process of estimating the revenue the government anticipates it will generate and the expenses it will incur. A government budget is a government paper that indicates the government's planned revenues and expenditures for a financial year and is usually presented by the finance minister of the country. Government budgets are made up of three types, which: budget deficit, budget surplus, balanced budget. To reduce the deficit budget, the government needs to implement budget surplus.
There are three types of government budget. What is budget surplus? Budget surplus is where the tax revenue exceeds government expenditure, GT. The surplus budget will be adopted by the government. To overcome inflation, it can be done by raising the tax or reducing the government expenditure. Meanwhile, I will explain a little bit about deficit budget and balanced budget. Deficit budget. Budget deficit is where the government expenditure exceeds its revenue, G greater than T. Balanced budget. A balanced budget policy is where the government expenditure is equal to its revenue, G equals T.
So how does the government strategy to address its budget deficit?
Firstly, implementing spending cuts. The government will trim spending on subsidies and social assistance next year by around 11.5 billion ringgit to a total 50.8 billion ringgit as it moves toward targeted assistance instead of blanket subsidies. An example of that will be the continuing of electricity rebates for the poor while phasing out diesel subsidies. Next, introducing new taxes. Government expanding the tax base by implementing a capital gains tax on unlisted shares and increasing the services tax rate from 6% to 8%. Lastly, reducing debt payments. The government aims to reduce the fiscal deficit and debt to GDP ratio while also attracting international investors and transforming Malaysia into a high-income nation. Parliament has approved a bill to enforce limits on the fiscal gap, levels, and government guarantees, showing a dedication to fiscal responsibility.
Conclusion: benefit of reducing budget deficit. First, lead to economic stability. A lower budget deficit indicates sound fiscal management, fostering economic stability and reducing the risk of financial crises. Secondly, improve investor confidence. When investors see government committed to fiscal responsibility, it can boost confidence in the economy, thus stimulate economic growth. Lastly, helping in managing national debt, uncontrolled or persistent budget deficits without economic benefits can lead to an unsustainable increase in national debt. Thank you for watching.